right, good morning. Welcome to our November Tech Talk. You just heard there, we are recording this session, and you were hearing us chit chat about that a few minutes ago. So we always record our sessions, make them available later. So we encourage you to always follow up later. You can watch the session, share it with your colleagues. Going to quickly introduce our presenters, as well as we have one more Tech Talk on our calendar year. We have one in December. That topic is going to be finding the right cable protection solutions, presented by ABB. That is around ingress protection, I think with the Liquidtight TMB. So it'd be a great presentation. A little away from our automation topic, but very important as well for completing the project. That'll be on Wednesday, December the 13th. So that'll be coming up here after the holiday and before the Christmas break. We wedged this one today right between Automation Fair last week and Thanksgiving next week. So it's kind of that kind of strange week, I guess, if you were at Automation Fair last week. So we welcome everybody for joining. With that, our presentation today is going to be a pretty good one. It's going to be with TXOne Networks around their portable inspector. So I'll turn it over to Jim and Quentin to take our presentation from here.
All right. Thank you, Wayne. Good morning, everyone. And thank you all for joining today's Reynolds Company Tech Talk. I would like to thank Wayne and Luis and everyone at the Reynolds Company for their partnership and inviting TXOne to participate in today's session. As Wayne mentioned, my name is Jim Barry. I am Distribution Manager with TXOne. And for those of you that are not familiar with TXOne, we are a cybersecurity company. We're uniquely focused on delivering cybersecurity solutions designed to ensure reliability and human safety of operational technology and critical infrastructure environments. And we're going to utilize today's Tech Talk session to focus on a unique cybersecurity tool for industrial assets, something here at TXOne we call Portable Inspector, and its corresponding management console, Element 1. And as I'm sure all of you are familiar, OT and industrial control systems pose unique security challenges, from physical environment itself, such as excessive heat, cold, dirt, vibrations, onward and so forth, to air-gapped environments that have minimal to no internet connectivity, or to the very common likelihood that outdated, unpatchable, legacy Windows-based operating systems are still being used that might include Windows XP, 2000, Windows 7, and others. Portable Inspector is a step towards scanning and protecting those operational technology assets in a very small USB device form factor that's easy to use, even for your not in cybersecurity pros, as well as being a security tool that provides end users with an immediate path to value and return on their investment in their OT cybersecurity. So with that being said, I will turn the screen over to TXOne Solution Architect, Quentin Contreras, who's going to provide a technical overview of the Portable Inspector device, the Element 1 console, and if we have time, we'll take a quick look at a couple of other TXOne solutions designed for ICS, endpoint, and network security. So Quentin, the screen is yours.
Thank you, everyone. As Jim said, this is Quentin. I'm a solutions architect here at TXOne. Today, we're going to be primarily focused on these two solutions here. So I'll share some slides and we'll go over the capabilities of our portable inspector solution. And then everything goes smoothly, we'll jump over into Element 1 and we'll actually look at the console live. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. So just on the left is our portable inspector solution. So that is that agentless inspection tool. And then Element 1 is the centralized dashboard, the management piece of our portable inspector solution. So let's jump right into the portable inspector portion. As Jim said, portable inspector is a USB device that requires no software installation whatsoever and allows you to scan your OT assets like I said, without requiring any sort of software to do so. So we can plug in, scan the entire system for malware. One unique feature about our solution is we can actually take action based on the malware that we're seeing as well. So we can actually remediate and quarantine live and on the fly with our USB device. So we're not just going to be log only, although we do have that capability. We can actually allow you to quarantine those files if we did find a malicious threat during the scanning process. One of the other capabilities of the portable inspector solution is we do collect an asset inventory picture as well. So during the scanning process, we can actually learn all the applications on the system. We can learn, the hardware specifications. We can learn the patch levels, things like that, and display that all for you so you can understand, hey, maybe this is a system that we don't have a lot of visibility into. You can take this stick, perform a scan, and get some of that visibility, especially utilizing the Element One portfolio. You can see all the applications on that system. And another unique feature is after we've done that asset inventory collection, and I will show you this inside of Element One, we actually can show you the vulnerabilities on that system as well. And we'll give you the ratings from critical down to low. The other cool capability of Portable Inspector, specifically our Pro editions, is it has 64 gigs of hardware encrypted storage built into the stick as well. And what's unique, not only that it is a hardware encrypted partition on that USB device, is there's built-in malware scanning as well. And so what that means is as files are actually transferred to that USB device, they will automatically be scanned for malware. And only if clean will those files be allowed to be transferred over. So even if you dropped in a large folder with lots of files within, the Portable Inspector solution will scan all those files, and it will block the malicious files from transferring over, and allow all the clean ones to do that transfer over. And then lastly, one of the big features of Portable Inspector, and Jim mentioned this, is it's designed to be very simple and easy to use. Intuitive in its use, and I'll show you some slides that kind of show that. It has those LED indicators on the back, so as you're doing your scanning process, you can quickly understand what is going on during that process. When that scan has finished, without even looking at the console, you could look at that light to understand, okay, it's clean, or it found something, things like that. Those LED lights could show that to you. The one thing I haven't talked about yet is the operating system support. So with Portable Inspector, we can scan both Windows and Linux operating systems. On the Windows side, we can go very far back and scan your legacy operating systems. So I know that's a huge challenge in the OT environment, is scanning these legacy assets, because there's not a lot of solutions out there that still support those operating systems. So our Portable Inspector solution can scan those legacy operating systems for you, but also scan, the newer flavors of Windows that's out there. And then, like it shows on the slide, we do support Linux operating systems as well. And if for some reason there was an operating system that we didn't support, our stick also has the capability of booting to our USB device, and you can actually scan the file system before the operating system loads as well. So if for whatever reason, maybe the stick wouldn't be allowed to run, or the operating system isn't supported, we can boot and scan to our USB device as well, for that specific scenario. Moving on to the LED design, this kind of explains what those lights mean on the back of the stick. And this is actually let me turn off the volume. This is a video that kind of shows that. So on the right, this is what it would look like during the scanning process. The lights will flash during that process, and at the end of that scan, it will light up either as red, which means it found something, and maybe you set the stick to not take action, and so you need to go and look and confirm if you want the stick to take action, things like that. It'll be red. Green will mean that the stick did take action, was able to clean the system. It did find something malicious, but it was able to clean it, so we're green. And then blue would mean that there's no threat detected and the system is safe. And so, like I said, that makes it very easy to use for operators who may not necessarily have a ton of security experience, to understand what's going on with the stick. Plug it in, hit start scan, and then they can come back and look and see that light to kind of tell them what's going on with the system before they even look at what the screen is telling them. And then moving on to secure storage. This is kind of an illustration of how that would work. You plug into your system, transfer the files over. They will automatically be scanned, and I have another slide that will show you that exactly. And only those clean files will be transferred over. So that's another unique differentiator with our solution. These can be your secure USB device to transfer files in and out of the environment, because you know that this stick is secure and clean, because that process happens automatically. So there's not a lot of there's no configuration needed for that malware scanning process. And this slide will show that here. So you'll see this is exactly how it looks. Someone copied over a folder. The scanning process automatically started. It showed there real quickly that 30 files were copied over and 1 file was blocked from transferring over. And then inside of the console, we actually show you those blocked files. And so you'll be able to see the block history of the files that were attempted to transfer over. If we did see a malicious file, we will prevent that transfer from happening, so that you can ensure that the stick is safe to use inside of your environment. And then lastly, as a quick summary of what Portable Inspector can really help you with, right? It can help you meet some compliance, right? Maybe you need to make sure that you've scanned all your systems. It can help you meet that sort of compliance. You can stop some insider threats and make sure there's, if you use our device as a secure USB, there's not going to be rogue USB devices allowed in your environment, as you set the policy to use our devices. And then, cleaning in and out of your environment from a supply chain perspective. So even as you purchase equipment, bring it in, you can scan them. As third parties come in your environment, you can scan to make sure that they're clean and there's no malware on their systems. But say if also you were in an industry that you are sending out equipment, you can make sure that you scan your equipment before you send it out to someone. We have the capability, we actually print out a PDF report to say, hey, this machine, when it left our facility, was clean. And so you can ensure that the equipment as it's being sent out is also clean as well. In the middle there, we have that IT OT visibility. That's with that asset inspection that we do. So you can get that detailed information with our sticks. You can perform a risk assessment based on the vulnerabilities that we see, and I will show you that inside of the Element One console. I'll show you that. And then help eliminate some shadow OT. With that asset inventory collection, we will display all the applications. So maybe there's some applications installed on some solutions, on some of your assets that you weren't aware of. Portable Inspector can help surface that for you as well. And then lastly, that secure data exchange, right? The ability to make sure that you have a stronger process of transferring files in and out of an environment. Use it to patch your systems. This can be your secure USB stick to do that. And so this is a built-in mechanism just to ensure that data transferring is as secure as possible. Perfect. So let me jump over into Element One. And so like I said, rather than present through slides, I'm going to show you what the console looks live, the Element One console. So the Element One is the management piece to the portable inspectors. And so it allows you to manage the sticks, control the settings, but also be the central place to gather the logs that were collected from those sticks. And then Element One will do further analysis, which I will show you. So as we enter the Element One dashboard, you're going to be greeted with some statistics and some information right off the bat. So you'll be able to see the total number of assets that you've scanned with your portable inspector solution. Sorry, magic mouse mishap. You'll be able to see all the assets that you've scanned. You get to see the number of assets that have a critical vulnerability, and I'll talk more about that. But you get to see a good breakdown of the assets in your environment that you've scanned, right? We break it down between Windows and Linux, and then we give you a more detailed view specifically on each of those operating systems as they break down the specific OS level that they're at. And so you can get a good view of your environment with these sticks. And then our other widget on the dashboard is going to be the top 10 missing Windows updates in your assets. We'll list those KBs out for you, and I'll show you in the asset view what that looks like. And so first, let's go down into the device list. This is where you actually manage your individual sticks. And so you can have a large number of sticks registered to this console. You can actually break them out by groups as well. And this supports role-based access control. So you can specify groups and sticks to go into specific groups to where only certain users, when they log into the Element One console, they will only see the sticks inside of their group. So maybe you have these at multiple different sites, and you have an administrator that only manages a certain site. You can give them access to only their sticks in their console so that they can control the settings of those sticks and things like that. And so they can see the information for their site only. One of the things in the console we'll show you is the last sync time. So you'll be able to see when the stick, last time it synced with element 1, but also the last time the stick was updated as well to ensure that it has the latest patterns. And so we also show that here, right, by the different colors. You'll be able to see if the stick is synced correctly with the console. And so you'll be able to know rather quickly if some sticks are out of date and need to sync back with the console. You can also go in and control all of your settings from here as well. So you can set up your scanning process, whether you want to scan all files, specific directories, quick scans, things like that, but also where you want to specify scan actions, you can do all that here in the console. And then the last feature I'll talk about on this page is the lock policies option. You can lock these policies, so you can set it from the console, lock the policy, so that way locally someone can't modify the settings. So, maybe they want to try to get by without scanning or scanning without it taking action, things like that. You can lock this. So when that stick syncs back with the console, they won't be able to change the settings locally until you unlock this button. Moving down to logs, this is where you can see some of your scan logs. So as a device performs a scan on a system, we will send those logs up to element 1, and you can view all of that here inside of the element 1 console. So you'll be able to understand the start time, end time, how long that took. You get to see some pattern update, the engine versions, and then you get you start to see some of that asset inventory, really more of the hardware specifications, the IP address, MAC address, the platform it's on, but also the host name of the machine that you scan. And then you get to see the scan status, whether it was completed, threats found, the number of files scanned. In this case, it was 82,000, and there were no threats found. I'll show you an example of when a threat is found, what that looks like. And so this is another machine that we've scanned, and you'll see we did see something here, and you'll see down here we list out the file path. The result is I had set the stick to ignore and just log only, and then we give you the hash value of the file that we found along with the threat name of that file. And so if I had chosen to quarantine, we would see that here that we quarantined, and you'll see the result here of quarantining that file. Moving to assets, this is where you get a lot of that asset inventory view. And so you can click into your assets. As you can see, we have 110. We can click in immediately, and we'll be able to see the vulnerabilities of that specific asset. So in this case, this one has 0 critical severity vulnerabilities, but it does have high severity vulnerabilities listed for this specific asset, and we'll list that out. And with the associated CVE, we give it has the associated score. We'll show you the application/operating system that is applicable to this vulnerability. And then we also give you the Windows update that can help you address that vulnerability. And so you can see that it's this KB. We'll allow you to copy it, and you can go out and grab that Windows patch and apply it to your system if it's applicable to that system and you are able to patch. That way you can clear up this vulnerability, and this will go away on the next time that it is scanned by a portable inspector stick. This will update with the latest patch information and no longer show these vulnerabilities. But we do list that out from critical down to low, and we do all the same versions or all the same capabilities based on the ratings. We'll give you the KB to help address that specific vulnerability. Jumping into the asset details, this is where you get some more information as well, so you can understand the hardware asset information. Jumping over into applications, you'll be able to see all the applications on the system. And it's more than just Windows applications, right? I can show you a machine, and it has all sorts of applications. It'll find every application installed, and we'll list that out for you, as well as the update information. And then one feature we have is we have the ability to export this all out into a PDF. And so you can see all that information in a PDF format, and right at the top, we'll give you a quick check that you can go through. Is the operating system in active support? Yes or no? In this case, yes. When the malware scan was happening on the system, were there ever any threats found? No threats were found. And the highest operating system vulnerability severity that we saw is a high, and then we will list all that information out for you in that PDF format. And then back in the asset view, we do give you filters so you can get very specific on the assets that you want to see. Maybe you want to see something that was scanned in the last 24 hours. You could do that. Last 7 days, you could do that here as well. So you can see, you can pivot down into specific assets as far down as you'd like to go. And the last thing I'd like to show you is we do support the capability to upload all this information and forward all this to your SIM. So all the information that you see in Element 1, all of our logs, asset information, we can send that all off to a SIM as well. So you can see that information in a central place based on the information that was gathered from our portable inspector solution. So with that, I'll turn it over to see if you guys have any questions about the solution. If not, we can briefly cover some of our other TXOne solutions as well.
Yeah, feel free to unmute. Yeah, feel free to unmute and ask a question if you want to ask live or chat it in.
And I can even help out with, just some common questions that we hear ourselves. One of the things that we get asked, quite a bit is, is this useful for something like incident response? And I would certainly say yes. Quentin, have you seen this can you offer up anything on your experience with this in incident response use? Or I would also add, in the crowd today, we do have a special guest, our technical director, Austin Byers, and he can help field some questions too. But to the question, is this useful for incident response? Austin or Quentin, how would you answer that?
Yes, I can go first. Okay. This is definitely useful, right? So because we don't require any sort of agent installation, we can very rapidly go in, right? When we suspect that there's an infection, we can plug in our devices and perform a scan much quicker than it typically takes to deploy out an agent and get all those communications set up. We can go in, update our sticks, make sure we're on the latest and greatest pattern updates, go into that environment and immediately scan very quickly to get you a quick look to see if, hey, are we seeing anything on the solution or on this asset that we're scanning? And if so, can we quarantine and fix it right now with this stick rather than trying to go in and deploy tools that can take days or weeks to deploy?
Excellent. And you mentioned scan patterns, Quentin. Any idea how many scan patterns Portable Inspector has? So this might be an Austin Byers question too.
Yeah. So the way the scanning patterns are updated, right? The sticks can reach out directly to the internet and receive their updates, or out to Element 1 to receive their updates. The pattern updates are relatively quick, so you don't have to wait a long time for those updates, right? And we are utilizing capabilities, right, with 30 years of experience with our patterns to be able to identify and quickly respond to threats.
Excellent. And another question, I think this is going to be something that we kind of wanted to kind of tie wrap up this presentation today is, after seeing this presentation, a lot of folks ask, is this the only product that TXOne offers? And it certainly is not. It is just one aspect of our OT ICS focused cybersecurity portfolio. So Quentin, I believe you're pulling up a quick slide that we can take a look at we'll keep the audience hanging and look forward to the next tech talk where we can go into detail on some of these solutions.
Right. So we talked about Portable Inspector. We do have two other solutions that can help augment and complement the Portable Inspector capabilities. In the middle, we have our Edge series, which are OT security appliances designed to specifically protect your OT assets, to help you do some of that segmentation, to help separate off IT and OT, or maybe separate off different groups of assets in your environment. Right, it has virtual patching capability, so you can sit in front of devices and provide a network security level to make sure that these devices aren't susceptible to network vulnerabilities. But also we can allow you to help control the network traffic in your environment with these Edge series devices. They're OT specific, so they have built-in hardware bypass, fail-safe technology. So if something were to happen, we want to make sure that our devices aren't the reason that the network were to go down. Our devices can function in a fail-safe manner to make sure that that network stays up and running, say a power failure, things like that. So designed specifically for OT, with OT threats in mind. And then lastly, we have Stellar. Stellar is an agent-based solution designed also specifically for OT assets. So maybe you want a more real-time protection strategy you're able to install on systems. We have Stellar for that. And what's really unique about this is our legacy operating system support. So as you guys know, right, there's still a lot of legacy operating systems out there. Stellar can be used to install and protect those XP devices and provide protection, XP, Windows 2000, 2003, Windows 7, things like that. But also as Windows 10 and Windows 11 eventually one day will also become legacy, Stellar will continue to support those operating systems as well. And so it's a great option to help protect those legacy assets, with a slew of other features, right, built into the solution, really ultimately designed to make sure that we don't impede the performance of your OT assets, but also still provide great security for those OT assets. I know that was quick, but that we could discuss further on another Tech Talk.
That was awesome, Quentin. Thank you very much. And I think that puts us right up against the end of this session. I just want to thank everyone who attended the live session, and for anyone also that might view this in the future. Quentin has put a slide up with my and Quentin's contact information. Certainly reach out to your Reynolds representative first. But if you do have any questions, we are here to help however possible. Any customer conversations, just any general questions about our solutions, happy to help. And thanks again, everyone, for your time today.
Yep. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Quentin, and to TXOne for doing this today. And thank you for attending. And we wish everybody a safe Thanksgiving week next week. I know it's already starting to think about that. We're a week away. So safe travels to those traveling. And we look forward to seeing you back here in December. All right. Thanks, guys.